The obituary read, "She left behind a hell of a lot of stuff to her daughter and son who have no idea what to do with it." It's not a common line for an obit, but Mary Pat Stocks wasn't a common lady. Her son Sandy used it and other light-hearted moments in the obituary he wrote for his mom. It appeared in the Toronto Star over the weekend, and it's now getting attention right around the world on social media. Sandy joins us now in studio. I bet you didn't expect that reaction.
Oh, absolutely not. This really, the reason I wrote it was for the family. My mother was the type of person, and she was very, very private, and she told my brother and sister and I, just take my ashes, throw them at Yonge and Bloor. That's where I kissed your dad the first time.
Toronto.
In downtown Toronto, and she was born and raised here, and I don't want any funeral, I want nothing. So I wrote that really for the grandchildren and the great-grandchildren. They'd always remember her that way.
And, you know, you look at what you wrote about your mom. You talk about the way she overcooked stuff and, you know, how all the dogs had the same name and who she was. And people think, well, you know, that's not your standard obituary, but you wanted to do something different because you wanted to reflect who your mom was.
Absolutely. I mean, she cooked that way, and literally we had to chew for about an hour and a half to get through. Liver was probably the worst. You couldn't eat her liver. And we always said we had the Stocks diet. We'd take our napkins, put it up to our face, cough, spit the food out, put it back into your lap. And the sandwiches, actually, the reason I wrote that was because she used to make the buns Sunday night.
She made the buns Sunday.
And then she put them in the freezer for our lunches while we went to school. There was 4 of us. By Friday, that bread was so hard and the meat was so chewy, it was unbelievable. So we threw them out and ate everybody else's lunches.
When you were tasked with writing the obit, because I read, you know, your sister wasn't in any shape, and you know, people were, and so you sat down and you started to do a little bit of research and looked at obituaries that were written for friends or family friends, and you said what to yourself?
I immediately said, that's not my mother. I could never write an obit that said she's a beautiful, wonderful person and everybody loved her. That's not exactly what she was all about. People did love her. She was very prim and proper, but the family always knew she was a little tiger. And I thought, I can't do this. I've got to write something that I'm going to have a memory of her, and all the kids are too. And I started writing, and it just flowed from there on out.
Flowed from there, and then you read it to your family. Did you think that did you think you'd get the green light right away, where they'd say, Sandy, yeah, you know what, this represents our mom and our grandma and our great grandma, so go ahead? Well,
Marcy, the first thing I did was I read an obit of one of her friends who had passed away just prior to her, and I read it, and I said, this is a normal obit, guys. I haven't done it this way. And I read through the whole thing, and they were all sitting there going, right, okay. And I said, now I'll read you Mom's. And I read it, and we called her Gammy. Everybody called her Gammy. And I read through the whole thing. I wasn't sure of the reaction, but they were absolutely killing themselves laughing. My brother-in-law, Ian, just turned, looked at me and said, do not change one word.
That's fantastic. I love that you did this. Are you a lot like your mom?
Oh, that probably is my obit too, I think. Yeah, very, very similar, definitely.
What will you miss the most about her?
Wow. Probably, well, not her cooking, for sure. I know that.
You cleared that up.
Oh, yeah, definitely not that. You know what? I don't think there's much I'm going to miss. My mother left all of us, all the kids, with so many memories of whether it was weeding that rock garden or whatever it might have been. I'll just remember her for everything. She taught us to be really kind to people, shake people's hands, open doors for them. We always had to have the best manners. And I think that's probably what will always stay with me, and every one of the children were brought up that way. So I don't think I'm going to miss much.
A full, fantastic life.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
yes.
Such a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, you too. Thank you so very much.
All the best to you. If you'd like to read the full obituary, you'll find it on our website, canadaam.ctvnews.ca.